Hello, everybody, and welcome to Everything Government Can Do for You and Your Business, all in one place with Innovation Canada. From funding to expert advice to driving new collaborations, Innovation Canada's programs and services are designed to help grow businesses and help entrepreneurs innovate, create jobs, and grow Canada's economy. And I'm so excited to bring this opportunity to the CanWCC community to learn directly from Innovation Canada about government support for your business. And now let's get started. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jenna Clockley. I am the Director of Membership and Community here at the Canadian Women's Chamber of Commerce, or CanWCC, as we'll call it for short. My pronouns are she, her, and I live and work on the unceded and unsurrendered lands of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, the Ojai Cree, the Dakota, and the Dene peoples, and home to the Métis Nation covered in Treaty 1, colonially known as Winnipeg, Manitoba. And the Canadian Women's Chamber of Commerce operates on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in what is colonially known as Toronto, Ontario. And if you're looking for the Indigenous lands you are on, you can visit native-land.ca for the treaties and original keepers of what is known today as Canada. The Canadian Women's Chamber of Commerce is the first and only chamber of commerce for diverse women identified and non-binary business owners in Canada. And as a chamber of commerce, we represent your needs with the government, and our position and title as a chamber gives us access to those people who impact change. And we exist to improve the quality of life for over 1 million entrepreneurial Canadian women through advocacy with policymakers. And we aim to build a healthier and more inclusive Canadian economy. And now let me introduce our guest today from Innovation Canada. First off, we have Sado Youssef. She is the Senior Outreach Advisor, Marketing and Outreach with Innovation Canada. We have Maha Buishi. She is an Economic Analyst and BizPal from Innovation Canada. And we have Amy Gopal, who is the Senior Innovation Advisor, Accelerated Growth Service with Innovation Canada. So thank you all of you for being here. And Sado, I'll turn it over to you to get us started.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hello, bonjour. I'd like to start by thanking Jenna and the whole team at the Canadian Women Chambers of Commerce for giving us the opportunity to bring awareness to their membership and community on Innovation Canada and the programs that are available to you. Today's webinar will be titled, Everything Government Can Do for Your Business, All in One Place. So as Jenna has mentioned, my name is Sado Youssef, and I'm pleased to be here with you. I would like to begin by acknowledging that I'm joining you today from Ottawa, Ontario, on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. I encourage you to take a few minutes to think about the lands on which you are joining from today. So, as you know, it can be challenging for founders, entrepreneurs, small business owners to navigate the business support landscape, to know what government programs are available to them, that they exist, or where to even find them. Women entrepreneurs play a vital role in our economy, providing local jobs, boosting the GDP, and supporting our communities. They are a unique position within the Canadian business ecosystem with their own set of circumstances, goals, and opportunities. And the 2024 data from the Women Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub provides some key points that help to gain a better understanding of our current state. So about nearly a quarter, so 23.2% of Indigenous business owners are women. 26.1% of small businesses that are majority owned by women are led by women with disabilities. 16.9% of immigrant women leverage their cultural insights to incorporate export into their business operations. And then 33% of women-owned businesses make stride to adopt sustainability practices and reduce waste. According to the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses, CFIB, there are also a unique challenge that make it harder for women to succeed and grow their business. Their primary challenge is managing multiple roles within their business, about 70%, followed by a striking balance between work and personal life, which is about 62% of women. Half of women business owners, about 51%, surveyed reported facing challenges when trying to access funding for their business. In addition to that, 22% of financing applications from women-only owned businesses were rejected outright, compared to the average of 15% for all businesses. 38% of women had difficulty applying and qualifying to government programs compared to men. While the 2023 State of Women Entrepreneurship Annual Report produced by the Women Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub shows progress with more Canadian businesses owned by women, it is evident that only 16.8% of small and medium-sized businesses in Canada are predominantly owned by women, underscoring the need to further make action. We want you to tell us what we don't know, what you can tell us that are the challenges and how can we do better. Because of that, our role is to make it easier for women to find the right programs for their businesses and to help them save time doing so. So today, we're going to spend some time together to share a brief description of Innovation Canada and its suite of programs and services. We're going to take a closer look at the Business Benefits Finder and BizPal, share an overview of 4 online marketing research products that you might find useful, and present what Accelerated Growth Service is with a very special chat with our innovation advisor. And finally, we'll answer some questions during the Q&A portion. As mentioned, by Jenna earlier. My name is Sauda Yusuf. I'm a Senior Outreach Advisor. I'm joined today with Maham Burhisi, Economic Analyst at BizPal, and Amy Gopal, Senior Innovation Advisor with AGS at Innovation Canada as well, who's joining us, by the way, from British Columbia, so shout out to her. So before we dig in, let's get to know each other a little bit better. I want to know all about your challenges, your industry, where you're coming from. So I have a Slido that I'd like to invite you to join. So what you'll do is, if you're joining us on a computer, open your browser at www.slido.com, and you're going to use the hashtag CANWCC, so Canadian Women Chambers of Commerce. Once you join in, we're going to answer the first question. I would like to know what areas of it or what industry you are coming from. What is your business in? Please tell me by taking a few minutes. We'll try for 2, and then tell me, are you coming from agricultural? Are you coming from retail? Are you coming from the tech? Oh, we see people coming in already. Okay, awesome. Beauty industry. I hope I'm doing you justice. I put a little bit of lip gloss today. We have retail, food manufacturer. Okay, retail, coaching, CPG, financial services, interior design. I might need those, actually. I might have to hit you up. E-commerce, retail, books, movies, electronic wholesale. Oh my God, I see there's a huge variety of industries here. Love that. I see there's a couple more people who are typing. Coaching again. So as you see the words getting larger as more people within the same industry. So if you didn't know some of your friends that are here with us, it might be a great way to network and connect. What else we have? Development, coaching. Okay. All right. So I have a couple more questions. So let's move on to the second one. I would like to know, the people who are joining here today, what are the barriers that you face as a business owner and an entrepreneur? Funding, financial. Yeah. These are some of the things that we hear. Marketing. Interesting that you say that, because I may have potentially a solution for that. I might have a solution for all of them, actually. We have cash flow, international shipping, support, excuse me, sorry, awareness, marketing budget. Yeah, these are all things that we've heard, and we're hoping that some of the things that we talk about today will help in these areas. Last but not least, another question for you guys. We are coming back again on March 31st. You're hearing it first. I'm here. So I would like to know is there any information that you would be helpful to learn more about? Is there anything that you want to learn more about, to hear about? What other support or services that are available in the government? We are coming back on March 31st, and we would like to see if we can facilitate and see if we can bring some information for you guys in those areas, funding opportunities. Okay. I see there's some conversation going on in the chat as well. Funding grants, resources, marketing support. Are you guys interested in learning about intellectual property, AI, how to protect how to be incorporated versus corporated, some of those things? Let me know, and we can try to develop something for you guys on March 31st that addresses those things, as well as the ones that we're having in the Slido as well. All right, so I'll leave that in the background. Feel free to continue putting things in. We'll continue with the presentation. I want to make sure that I take advantage of this full hour, right? So what is Innovation Canada? Innovation Canada is a program that is at Innovation, Science, and Economic Development Canada, also known as ISED. Within Innovation Canada, you'll find a suite of programs and services designed to back innovative ideas and companies working to grow, scale, and make their mark in Canada's economy. You may have heard some of these, and they could be new to you. Others could be new to you, sorry. No matter where you are across the continuum, we can point you to the right direction. There may be an Innovation Canada program right for you. With female-owned entrepreneurship spanning the spectrum of industries, as we saw earlier, business types of varying sizes and scope, Innovation Canada may have a program or a service that could support you as you work towards a specific goal while continuing to grow and scale. Innovation Canada key programs and services are really broken into two categories. We have services and funding. Note that we will share this presentation with CanWCC, so hopefully you'll have access to it, hopefully by the end of today, tomorrow, so you don't need to take screenshots, please. Okay, let's start with the funding side. So the funding side, we have ISC, also known as Innovative Solutions Canada. It generally helps Canadians and small business enterprises, by funding the development and testing of new innovative solutions. Through active challenges, companies who have relevant early stage concepts in development can apply to participate in the challenge and may receive funding to prove their concept and demonstrate the feasibility of their proposals. Companies with relevant later stage innovations may be able to further develop their prototype and test them before launching them into the marketplace. So that's ISC. We also have Strategic Innovation Fund, also known as SIF, provides larger scale funding. So this is typically about $10 million or more to help cutting edge innovators scale, develop, and commercialize their innovations. We also then have global innovation clusters. So this brings together businesses, academic institutions, not-for-profit organizations to help foster innovation ecosystem with a little bit of a competitive edge. Canada has 5 clusters. They are digital technology, protein industries, advanced manufacturing, scale AI, and ocean. In the intellectual property side, we have Elevate IP, which increases IP awareness on educational opportunities to support Canadian startups through 6 delivery partners. The end goal is to help companies secure their intellectual property and maintain their IP rights. So that's the funding side. So let's move on to the service side. We have the Business Benefits Finder and AGS, Accelerate Growth Service, which we'll talk more about in a few minutes. We have BizPal, which is also another online interactive tool, which I'll let Maha talk about in a couple of minutes. And then we have Explore IP. So Explore IP is Canada's online intellectual property marketplace where businesses can find Crown-held IP and explore possible licensing and collaboration opportunities with public sector patent holders. So now that we've addressed that, let's shift our focus to the various ways Innovation Canada can assist you in finding the right program and services for your businesses, primarily through the Business Benefits Finder and Innovation Advisor Services. So what is the Business Benefits Finder? I'm sure some of you may have heard of it, and some of you are probably like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So Business Benefits Finder is a unique tool. It brings together hundreds of programs and services from the federal government, the provincial government, and territorial government, plus some non-profits. It is maintained by a team here at Innovation Canada who connect regularly with programs and services across the government to bring everything together all in one place. The Business Benefits Finder was designed to help you answer the question, what can the government do for my business right now? So you generally start with answering a few questions and receive a tailored list of the programs and services that are more likely right for you in about 2 minutes. I know, it's awesome. You can thank me later. Plus, you can narrow your search with filters for active and open applications, business-owned or led by underrepresented people, or focus on a specific area of interest like advice or tax credits. The Business Benefits Finder It's particularly helpful in the beginning stages of business development as an entrepreneur learns to find their way in the government landscape and finds out about the breadth of services available at their fingertips. Visitor stats show us that female entrepreneurs seeking support on the Finder are in the development stages of their business journey, and this is ultimately the place to get a head start. Female entrepreneurs have specific goals for their business, and the business benefits finder can connect them to the support that they are looking for often. From the 45,000 stories on the business benefits finder just last year, women entrepreneurs are most likely seeking support to start or buy a business, to grow or expand their business. They're either trying to buy or lease equipment or property and or hire and train employees. The data also shows that most women entrepreneurs using the Business Benefits Finder from last year are working in a variety of industries. We have wholesale and retail as the most popular one, education and health and other services being number 2, and business, scientific, and other professional services coming in third. The Business Benefits Finder can show entrepreneurs where to find that support that they may need that meets their needs. I'm sure all of you want to see how it works. So how about we show you in a quick demo? So you can either join me by following on the website at Innovation Canada or Googling Business Benefits Finder, or you can follow us by looking at the screen as we'll show you how it works. So for the purposes of just today, we'll start by working with an individual named Julia. Who is Julia? Julia is a 30-year-old who identifies as a Black woman. She is based outside of Toronto. She owns a small inn and a tour company. She has about 8 employees, and her business is incorporated. And Julia is looking for tax credits, grants and wage subsidies to hire staff. So how about we let Julia tell us her story? So what we know is Julia is looking for funding, tax credits, and wage subsidies. But for the case of this, let's say we're also gonna add expert advice, like marketing, hypothetically speaking, if it's available. I know a few mentioned some support in marketing, so we'll add expert advice in that. You will see that you can choose any or many of these categories if it makes sense to do so. You should keep in mind that the more detail you provide, the more precise the filter can be providing you the results that you need. Because we mentioned funding, we can provide a range. So in this case, we'll say about $20,000 to $500,000. We can show you later on how to change that after we complete this. And Julia's main goal is to grow and expand her business and to hire new staff. Plus, she's probably looking to contribute to the development of her local economy. So let's include that for today. As you complete each set of questions, you'll see the total number of potential programs right for you change in real time. That's the Business Benefits Finder filter working hard at work in the background. Julia's business is outside of Toronto, so we'll select Southern and Eastern Ontario for this case. If your business does operate in many of the provinces or territories, you can choose as many as where they operate, or you could just choose all of Canada. Julia has a tourism business, so we'll select tourism, accommodation, and food service. Excuse me. More specifically, Julia falls into 2 categories here. So she has a couple of choices. She can either choose one or the other, or accommodation or amusement and recreation, or she can just say, I'm not really sure. But in this case, we'll just say accommodation specifically. Julia has 8 employees with an annual revenue between $100K to $499,000. Her business is incorporated and it's for profit. The last question is where you can get into specific support programs. Selecting a filter does not exclude other options, but it does include support that specifically address the filters you have selected. You can select as many of these categories as you identify with, or choose to select none if you're not sure. In this case, since we said Julia identifies as a Black woman, we're going to choose Black Canadian. We're going to choose woman, and we did say she's under 40, so we'll choose youth. When you're done, choose whether you want to see all available programs or only programs that are currently accepting clients, and that's the one we'll choose here today. And then we'll go see your results. Okay, so you'll see your tailored results grouped by category based on the information you are looking for. In each category, you will see the programs that are most likely to relate to your needs. Each one comes with a brief description, and when you click on more, a slightly more detailed description will appear. You can click on the little star to favorite a result, okay? And as soon as you click on the star, you can put your email and a link will be sent to you directly. I promise this is not a newsletter you're signing up for. It's just a handy link with the results that you were looking for. And there's no password required, I promise. So on top of the support you were looking for and the additional support that you qualify for, as you scroll all the way down at the bottom of the page, you'll see that we have thrown a little few extras. Things that you weren't necessarily looking for, but might be useful to you anyway. So let's go back to the top where you can share your results. Clicking here auto-populates an email with the link to all the results that you received. You can click on sign in. This will save the results of your story and send you a custom link to use to come back to on your results whenever you want. So when you click on the left-hand side where it says edit your story filters, here's the summary of Julia's story. All the answers you provided to help filter the results. Note that these can be adjusted at any point just over here. You remember earlier when I said, she can fall into two categories. We can change it here if you want to go to amusement and recreation, if you want to change the industry, if you want to change anything you want, you can do it here. And then save your story and give it and access it whenever you want. So that, my friends, is the Business Benefits Finder, a tool that can help your business find the supports that you need and help that those who help businesses save time as well. We also have, I know I'm giving so much surprises, so much gifts here. We also have a blog. And this blog helps businesses save time. By reading some articles that have some of the frequently asked questions that you may have, like how to build a stronger application, hypothetically speaking. All right, so I'm sure you're tired of hearing me. So I'm going to switch and pass it over to my colleague, Maha, who's going to talk to us about BizPal. Maha, over to you.
Thank you, Sado, and hello, everybody. As mentioned, my name is Maha Bohesi, and I'm an economic analyst at the National BizPal office, and I'm very happy to be showcasing BizPal to you all today. To begin, a bit of a background on what BizPal actually is. The name BizPal came from meshing the words business, permits, and licenses. And as the name suggests, we offer an online service tool, a website, for businesses to find the permits and licenses and other regulatory information that they need across all levels of government. So that would be your federal, provincial, territorial, and municipal permits. And this year marks the 20th anniversary of BizPal, which is a testament to our ongoing commitment to simplifying the process of navigating Canada's regulatory landscape. BizPal is a very useful tool in order to stay up to date on your compliance requirements. So whether you're just starting your business or perhaps you are a more mature business looking to grow either in operations or you plan to expand to other locations across Canada, you can find the permits and licenses that you'll need through BizPal. It is 100% free to use and available 24/7, and we've made it so that our users can choose to navigate the website in either official language of their choice, so English or French. I'll go through a quick demo in a few minutes. However, you will be prompted, it's as easy as just entering your industry and your location, and from there, you'll have access to all your tailored information that you need for your business. A bit of a background on what our collection consists of. So today, our collection consists of approximately 11,000 permits and licenses, with well over 1,000 participating communities and 4 Indigenous communities. So this just means that roughly 80% of Canadians have access to their local permits. Well, with that being said, BizPal is also continuously working to improve and expand our collection, so we're actively adding more communities on the regular to ensure even broader access. I'll go ahead and share my screen now so that way I can actually go through and show you a quick demo of how BizPal works. Second. There we go. Perfect. So this is the BizPal homepage over here that we're all looking at. So to enter the site, you have two options. You can either press here where it says Launch BizPal, or based on your business location, you can select a province or territory from the map here, which will bring you to a branded version of BizPal. So for example, if I was located in Saskatchewan, and I were to click on Saskatchewan on the map, it would take me to a branded version of BizPal. However, whether you select a province or territory from the map, or if you were to select Launch BizPal, you'll be directed to a page with the same search fields where you'll be asked to provide a location in an industry. So let's go into a quick example. So let's just say you are located in Oakville, Ontario, and you plan to open a restaurant, and you've come to the BizPal website to learn about the permits and licenses that you'll need to do just that. So first you'll type in your location. So here we'll go and we'll type in Oakville, as we mentioned. And then for industry, we mentioned that we want to open a restaurant. So you'll see that there are two options available for the under restaurant for the industries. So we have a limited service restaurant, which we've also added some examples in plain language to understand these better. So a limited service restaurant would be your takeout or your drive-through restaurants, and then a full service restaurant would be more of your family or your fine dining restaurants. So for this case, let's just say we're interested in opening a full service restaurant. So we'll go ahead and choose that second option, and we'll click on search. And then we will land on our results page. So all the possible permits and licenses that you may need, which have been organized into different folders based off their business activities, are available to you. So we have for the activities, so we have starting a business, which would contain the permits and licenses that you need to actually register your business, followed by other categories such as managing and operating, business and professionals or services, construction and zoning, which would be required if you're actually looking to construct the restaurant space or want to make any structural adjustments to the building, and so on. So if we take a look under the starting a business folder, you'll see here that these are all the license and permits available to you. So on each side, we've indicated a source, in other words, which level of government actually owns the permit. So in this case, there are requirements available across all levels. So you'll see your federal, your municipal, and your provincial permits. So so when you actually click, when you actually click on a permit or a license, what you'll see typically is a short description, followed by some sources that will take you to the actual website where you'll find all the information that you need. And then of course, BizPal does also provide the contact information to the proper authorities handling the permit or license should you have any questions or having any issues. And we are also working towards our next version of BizPal currently in order to improve the service, including having a guided chat interface to assist with the search and provide the ability to compare between your searches. So that was a quick example, but I also do want to show you another example. So as I mentioned before, our collection currently consists of our collection currently covers 80% of the municipalities. So there may be an odd instance or two where you may not see your municipality available. So I just wanted to show you what that might look like. So let's go back to our homepage. So let's just say this time you still wanted to open a restaurant, but this time you were located in Alfred, Ontario. So we'll go ahead and we'll switch our location. We'll keep our industry the same, and we'll press search. So you'll notice that you do still get quite a number of results. However, this time you'll notice that the results for the permits and licenses, if you take a look at the source, are only at a federal and a provincial level. So there aren't any specific to your municipality. And in fact, you'll actually see here at the bottom that it indicates that your local permits are not yet available. So all this means is that we have yet to onboard your municipality's collection into BizPal yet. And should that be the case, I would recommend contacting your local municipal government directly to discuss your business compliance requirements. So you will still have access to your provincial and federal permits, but not your municipal permits. As I've mentioned before, we're continuously working with our provincial and territorial partners to onboard more municipalities. So even if your municipality may not be listed yet at the moment, you can always check back at BizPal every once in a while to see if it's been added. So that's our website. It's pretty straightforward. We do try to keep the site as user-friendly as possible. As you can see, BizPal does really try to help to keep everything as efficient as possible and to find all your required permits and licenses in one place so you don't have to visit multiple government websites. You can get the best results based off of your specific industry and location, making it easier to find what's required. And you can always stay up to date with changing regulations and ensure that your business is meeting all the necessary requirements. So it is designed to be as user friendly as possible, so that way even first time users can navigate the website with ease. I'm definitely happy to answer any questions about BizPal in the QA portion of our webinar, but if you feel more comfortable or if a question comes up at a later date, you're welcome to contact BizPal directly. All our information is listed on our website, and you can just use the contact us, and one of us will get back to you with an answer. So thank you. That was BizPal for you all, and I'll hand it back to Sado.
Thank you so much, Maha, for presenting on BizPal. Like she said, we do have her until the very end, guys, so let's take advantage. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A, or we can, or sorry, the chat, or we can deal with it during the Q&A. So before moving on to AGS and inviting and talking about innovation advisors, I have 4 market research products that are essentially online interactive tools that can provide insight to help businesses make informed decisions. So we'll just take a quick high-level look at each of them and share the links to these sites with you after, alongside with the slides. So the first, we have 4. The first one is the Canadian Importers Database, also known as CID. Essentially allows users to access information about companies importing goods into Canada. With data sourced from Canada Border Service Agency, the CID is a reliable source of key insights on the competitive landscape of products, imports, sorts of goods, and prevalence of market concentration. You simply search by country of origin and to see a list of companies importing goods from that country. We also have the Canadian Industry Statistics, so CIS, which is a tool that sources data from Statistics Canada to provide insight into economic indicators by industry. Industries are shown by the North American Industry Classification System, NAICS code. Here you can see at a glance all the data relevant to your industry, so you can compare your own costs, salaries, products, etc., against your own industry across Canada. We also have the financial performance data. So this tool helps businesses better understand competing firms within an industry. Users can upload their balance sheets to compare to the average of that industry to your competitors. The data is basically a benchmark and backed by Statistics Canada for businesses to compare revenue, status, and more with other businesses in the same sector. Finally, the last one is the Trade Data Online, so TDO, which provides data reports not available on the Statistics Canada website. This data is supplied by both Statistics Canada and the US Census Bureau, and can be searched by products and industry to look at goods being traded in and by Canada with which country. So that's the market research products. Now, let's move on to AGS and our innovation advisors. Before I welcome Amy Gopal, I'll just quickly go through what is AGS. AGS is what we call a continuum of services. These services, which are primarily advisory services and the growth service, are designed to help Canadian entrepreneurs and businesses find the right program and support to grow and scale, delivered through a wide government approach. We think of this as a one-stop shop and a simplified access to government and government-backed support. These advisory services is essentially a one-on-one conversation between an advisor and a business that results in relevant programs and services recommendation. The growth service is a little bit more direct. Here, high growth firms and companies who are actively scaling up to have high growth potential can qualify for the growth service, which include dedicated support from an advisor and a proposed build team of AGS partners and a customized growth plan. All of our AGS services are delivered by innovation advisors who are experienced, often former entrepreneurs themselves, from private sector executives with a wide range of expertise and advice to offer businesses as they grow and scale. They are available to give you advice and on the programs and businesses that you could leverage as they grow. They are located across the country, connected to their local business ecosystem, and available to provide guidance on the programs a business could leverage as they grow. So speaking of innovation advisors, I'd like to now welcome Amy Gopal, who's a senior innovation advisor at Innovation Canada. I'd like to thank her for being here with us today, all the way from Vancouver. Hopefully the weather is better there than it is in Ottawa. Hi, Amy. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. So I have a few questions that I'd like to ask you about your experience, and maybe you can provide us some guidance and advice to the businesses and entrepreneurs that we have here today. So
Sure.
first question for you.
Sure.
How long have you been an IA?
So I've been in IA, I think coming up on to 4 years now. Working. Yeah, it's been a while. The years go by pretty quickly.
Right?
So providing guidance for small to medium size firms across a number of sectors.
Wow, 4 years, that's a long
Yeah.
time. Like since the
Yeah.
beginning of, since the pandemic, right? I guess at that point?
I started January 2021. Yeah. So kind of caught the tail end of that. Yeah.
Okay. So in the many years you've been an innovation advisor, sorry, what have you learned working with entrepreneurs, small and medium enterprises?
Yeah, so working with SMEs because we've spoken to hundreds, almost getting into thousands, I think at this point. There's been a lot of learnings, and I think the biggest takeaway, especially given the ecosystem that we're in right now, has been the importance of adaptability and resilience. And when I had my own business, that was definitely a sort of a superpower. Any company that is able to adapt pretty quickly is usually the one that's able to survive in marketplaces that are changing very fast.
Yeah,
They face unique challenges that require innovative solutions and usually a flexible approach to problem solving,
yeah,
and that's kind of key. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, and especially with what's going on in the world, you never know what's going to happen. So you have to be
Yeah.
always ready, be on your toes.
Yeah.
From what you've seen, what's the one tip the one thing that you'd like to highlight, especially in the early stages of startups or starting your business?
So the one thing that I would highlight to any business, there might be two actually. So one common oversight I see a lot of businesses making is, and it's important and it's a good piece of advice, is to kind of just do it, get into it and do it. But in that doing, they almost forget to work on sort of a comprehensive business plan. And it sounds boring, but it's so key and so important. A lot of growth, scaling, and market expansion, specifically on the marketing side, is derived from having a great business plan. And I know there are a number of tools. I think Futurepreneurs also got a small business plan writer. So there are resources available that can help you with that. I think we get a lot of SMEs that focus a lot in on their product, which is important, or the service that they're working on, but they often neglect to create this sort of strategic, uh, I guess, cornerstone for their business, a detailed plan that includes market research, financial projections, and sort of a clear strategy for
Yeah,
growth. It's kind of not the fun things to do in a business. And when I first started my first business, I wanted to do the fun things, and this was something that I put to the side. But it's so key. It's so key.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't have a business because I think that takes a strong individual, and I'm not strong at all.
Oh,
Uh,
anyone
it,
can do it. It's
yeah,
it's not easy, but you
it's
can.
not easy. It's not easy, and it
Yeah.
has to be overwhelming. Like you're being pulled on all sides, and you've worked with them, and you've worked with programs, and like where do you focus? Like what would you say an entrepreneur should focus on when they're looking for loans and they're planning you know what I mean? Like
Right.
how do you deal with all?
Yeah, it's a lot of information, and
Yeah,
when you're working on a business, you don't have a lot of time. So you've got to be very cognizant of where that time goes in and sort of what that return on investment is. So I think hence why having a business plan is, take the time out to do it, because what that's going to help you do, it's going to help you focus in on and understand this sort of specific requirements and needs of the business at each stage. And especially if you're a business that's growing at a good pace. I was working with a company, and the CEO would always say, if you're growing, you're breaking things at every 30 to 60 days. So understanding what your specific needs are for that quarter, and really zeroing in on what that is, and that's going to help you navigate sort of, especially from government programs and everything else that's out there, exactly where your time is best put, in terms of the programs that you should apply to, that you should look at, and move from there. So just be very concise in what your needs are and be very honest about what it is you can
Absolutely.
accomplish in that 2 to 3 months.
Absolutely. That's really
Yeah.
good advice. So earlier I was talking about some of the challenges I've, through the research preparing for this webinar, I did some research, and there was a lot like financial struggles and marketing. From your experience working with, especially in your ecosystem, the programs that are available, do you have any solutions that you could potentially share in terms of like financial or anything that we addressed in the beginning?
Yeah, so to the challenges,
Yeah,
yeah, the ones that we obviously often see are, access to funding is always a big one.
yeah,
You need that working capital, navigating regulatory requirements, IP, finding the right talent. Uh, Today, tariffs are a big one.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
that's something that advisors are kind of pivoting to. There's definitely solutions. We've got several clients that, for myself personally, that have a big base in the US. So we're trying to work on supply chain. We're trying to figure out
yeah,
what that shift might look like. And in terms of funding options, are we going to go the investment route? Are we looking at loans? Government programming does have some funding programs, but I always tell companies, don't look at it as your sole way to fund something.
yeah,
You need to look at it as a bonus, right?
yeah,
But outside of that, there are solutions, and I think talking to an advisor, or if you've got a mentor, if you've got an advisory board, you need to bounce these ideas off of them. Often the best solutions come from brainstorming,
yeah,
and figuring out what that looks for. But for women in business, specifically, there are, if we're going to call it sort of specific programs, there's like BDC's venture arm has their Thrive platform for women. There's like out in BC, there's WeBC. So there are organizations here to help women through this. Obviously, us as advisors are also there to help navigate that. And it's not a one size fits all solution. It's going to be very specific to the company, the sector, and the founder, and that's kind of how we approach that.
yeah. The BDC is a really good shout out because I've heard a lot of people use it. Like they have one for Indigenous
Yes.
entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
newcomers as well. Yeah, BDC is a really great resource.
Yeah.
So outside, like alongside BDC, do you have any like programs and resources that SMEs or entrepreneurs could benefit from, but often they are overlooked?
Yeah, there's again, and it depends kind of situation.
Yeah.
But the one that everyone, and I have been guilty of this when I first started as well, is where can I get that funding? Where can I get that money? The one thing we don't like to hear is that your best source of funding is often sales. Uh, it's a
Mhm.
matter of how do we get there. And I found with my second business, sort of the best, actually, the 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 way I got there almost easier with the second time around, was looking into support programs such as Accelerator. So I joined an accelerator for my second company.
Okay.
And I had a great group of mentors that I was very diligent about meeting and sort of building up that network of connections. And in fact, my first 3 investors for that second business came that way.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a lot of support programs that are not grant and funding based. Those always get overlooked, but I feel like they sometimes have the biggest impact on your business. And so don't overlook that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so I know that you work with all types of entrepreneurs, small, medium, large businesses. In your experience, do you think that the landscape of women entrepreneurs in Canada has evolved in the past few years, like since the pandemic?
Yes. Yeah, big time. I think it's evolving really quickly, and it's great to see female entrepreneurs, especially the ones that have had successes, now choosing to give back. to
Yeah.
companies, whether it's in the form of being part of investment groups, or whether it's in the form of being a mentor. We've got the Firehood, obviously, which is a powerful group of women that are helping other women lift other women entrepreneurs up. So I think that support, especially because when I started almost 20 years ago, so that support that was really lacking for female entrepreneurs, because our journeys are very different.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
the obstacles, I think female entrepreneurs have to contend with are often very different from our counterparts. So to have someone that's gone through it, understands it, and can be a support, those organizations, that funding through those organizations, all of that has grown a lot actually since COVID. So we see that, and we're getting typically I was consumer packaged goods is kind of where I was, and marketing. But I'm seeing a lot of women venture out into other sectors as well, which is really interesting to see, and have sort of support nets within those sectors. So a lot of growth in that aspect for female entrepreneurs. And I urge them all to kind of figure out what's available locally or provincially, talk to an advisor, go to Business Benefits Finder, and tap into those networks.
Yeah, I'm not in those communities, but I've seen like just in Ottawa, the amount of women who are starting their own businesses
Yeah.
from like clothing to like baking and food. I'm like,
Mhm.
look at us grow. We're gonna take over
Oh
the world.
yeah, it's incredible. I mean, they're so innovative. Some of the ideas that they're coming up with. Beauty was my first uh industry that I had gotten
Yeah,
into, and 20 years later, I'm talking to a client who's basically built this entire process for female entrepreneurs specifically who want to get into the beauty industry but don't want to bother with sourcing and packaging, and
yeah,
they kind
wow.
of build a product for you, whatever you want, and then you take it and go. So it's really great. Yeah.
Some people sleep on women, but they don't know. We are the back
Yeah.
of, yeah, we
We've
hold
got some
everybody.
amazing ideas, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Okay. My last question for you,
Sure.
is what advice would you give the women, or just all around entrepreneurs who are feeling overwhelmed with the number of programs and resources available, or just who don't know where to start, or anything that you can help the people who are here today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got an idea, you want to get it off the ground. You haven't ventured into that space of entrepreneurship. Maybe you don't know, where do you go? So our platform obviously offers some great resources in terms of where to start. Um, Research and development, what does that look like? So that entire funnel of product development, the idea of how do you build your operations processes out, all of that kind of thing. So it always comes back to get that business plan done, get your ideas on paper, understand the industry that you're in, understand your own business well.
Yeah.
Again, specify those needs and those goals. When you're first starting out, figure out what that looks like for at least the first 2 years. And then talk to people. So obviously we as innovation advisors are here. You can always use the Business Benefits Finder. And again, when you use the BBF, don't sleep on those programs that don't provide funding and do provide support, because that can be a pretty integral part of growth.
Yeah.
Um, and just be very clear on what each sort of step and milestone might look like in your journey. And once you've got those goals, maybe goals 1 to 5, it's nothing too major, but it's so important to have that and just to check it off. And those wins feel really good too. So get
Absolutely.
specific, um, learn about your industry, your business, and talk to people, seek advice.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think you said this in a webinar that we did once back in December, but I could be lying.
Mhm.
You said, when you're planning at the beginning, what makes you different? I think is one of the things you said, like what differentiates
Absolutely. Yeah,
your
your UVP, that's so your unique value proposition, and it's something everyone sort of talks about. Um and I think it can be overwhelming for a lot of entrepreneurs when they come
Yeah,
in, they've got an idea or a product that they're very passionate about, and they're like, "Oh, well, there's already something similar to that." If it's something you believe in enough, there's obviously a unique value to it.
yeah,
If you see it, the point of marketing is to make other people see it. So it doesn't have to be a huge differentiator, but figure
yeah.
out what that is. writing that business plan will help with that. So the marketing portion of the business plan.
For sure.
But identify what makes you unique. Is it your community? Is it something specific about the product? Is it your story and how you got there? What is that? And run with it.
Absolutely. Thank
Mhm.
you. I love working with you, Amy. Honestly, you're filled with so much advice. I thank you so much for joining us today and telling us about your experience working with businesses and being an IA. Finally, let's move on to the Q&A. I feel like a lot of people might have some questions for you.
Yeah.
Maha too, of course, because we love Maha.
Of course.
Of course. So this brings us to the Q&A portion. Before we get to the Q&A, actually, if we can go to the next slide, you will see a way to contact us. If you have any questions for me, Maha, or Amy, this is the best way to contact us. My colleague actually is responsible of our email, so we can direct it directly to Amy. Feel free. You will receive these slides in English and in French. Hopefully, I don't know, we'll send it to Jenna, and hopefully Jenna will hook you guys up. But let's get to the Q&A. Does anybody have any questions for myself, for Amy, for Maha?
Yeah.
I believe you can turn on your mics. I'm not really sure.
Hi, I have a question. Let me introduce myself. My name is Punita Burgava. I have a business, Streambreeze Export. At the moment, I'm just developing my MVP product for my gummy is already been done, and for the MVP product for my drink is also be done. It's a digestive gummy and digestive drink that's going to be coming out into the market. But the thing is, I'm working with the biofood tech company, which is in PEI, and the CSK kitchen has Canada's Smartest Kitchen, which is also in PEI, had developed my gummy product. And Innov CCNB has developed my drink product. Now, the thing is, I want my production to go forward, and Biofood Tech is going to be making the first production. But where in the Canada's Business Finder, where would my company would be categorized to get the funds? Because I get very limited amount. I'm senior. I do not come under the youth program. So what is the best way for me to get the Canada Business Finder helpful
Work.
to
Yes.
work for me? Yes.
I got you. So, for the example earlier, Julia, she was a youth. She was what, 30 or 32 years old. So she chose to use to identify herself as a youth. But you don't have to be youth if you're not a youth. There's probably programs that are specific to you and what you need and what you're looking for, and potentially even your age group. And so what I would recommend is opening Business Benefits Finder on like 2 windows and trying out, looking for what you need specific to, let's say if you don't put any identity in, and then open it up to the identities you fall into. Or if, like earlier we were talking about, Julia falls into 2 categories under tourism. So, she switched it up to see what was available under one category versus the other category. What I'm trying to say is use it as many times as you can to get what you're looking for. If it's available out there, it should be on the Business Benefits Finder. The team at IC here at Innovation Canada, they try to update it every day as often as possible. So if there's something there for you that falls within the scope of the things that you're looking for, it should be there if it's available. Do you know what I mean?
Usually what I see is like I need to collaborate with the university, or I
Yeah.
need to collaborate under the agriculture department, and that's for the farms. So where would my innovation R&D program, am I in R&D program, or can I just qualify for the marketing? Like sometimes it's really confusing. So
Sure.
exactly under what R&D program can I qualify? That's
Okay.
really what I wanted to know. Like usually it's with the collaboration with the university. I'm not collaborating with the university at all, but there are so many funds for the universities. But
Yeah.
for the R&D, or I need to work with the scientists, mine doesn't come under the scientists, but it is an innovation. So exactly what I should be looking into. Like that's the problem I'm facing at the moment.
Have you considered looking at, so have you ever heard of the BDC, the Business Development Bank of Canada? Are you still here?
Yes,
Rita?
yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So BDC has, similar to innovation advisors, also have advisory as well. So if you can't access our advisors, or you know, it's you're not, the question that you need hasn't been answered yet, I also strongly recommend reaching out to BDC advisory, because they probably can, even futurepreneur, right, Amy? Could you correct me if I'm wrong? Even
So
futurepreneur.
yeah, so Futurepreneur, I think they focus a little bit more on sort of under 39, if I'm not mistaken, but they
Okay.
Under
do have a advisory set. Um, sorry, Sato, I'm just gonna jump in, but I think
Please.
again, this is a great example of it depends, because NRC IRAP is typically the biggest funder of R&D. They do work across sectors, but they've got sort of a specific mandate in terms of what they're looking to fund as well. And they are the biggest, I think, funding body in Canada, if I'm not mistaken, right now. But there are parameters in terms of what falls under, it is not maybe what everyone wants to hear, but sometimes your business might not qualify for certain programs, because if you are getting it done by a third party, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what I'm understanding. So they might be able to apply for that funding, but your company wouldn't be able to. So there's some interesting I guess, workarounds within each program. That's why it's always important to maybe talk to an advisor, find the one that would be in your area, just to understand your unique situation. And if it might not be something like an NRC IRAP or research and development in particular, there might be another funding opportunity that would be a better fit for you.
Okay.
So it's our job to kind of help you think outside the box a little bit and see what that playground looks like, and where we can sort of tap in and maximize support for you, um, because it's not your job to really know all of that. It's our job to sort of know that and give you the right guidance. So my advice would be to reach out to an advisor locally and talk to them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
There's another question in the chat from
Yes.
Abisola. And she asked, are there specific places to check for brick and mortar businesses and for things like equipment? I operate a salon and it's unfortunately not listed in the business benefits finder.
Ooh, you know what? That's good. That's great to know, because maybe I don't work inside the system, but I can share that with my colleagues and see if maybe this is a category that we can potentially add. I can double check. I don't have, I'm not familiar with that. I don't know if Amy knows anything about that. That could potentially be.
So for machine sourcing and things like that for your business, I think the business benefits, I don't think we do B2B, if I'm not mistaken, but um I think, and please clarify in the chat if I'm totally missing the point, but if you're looking to source equipment for your business, funnily enough, my mom actually had a salon, and a lot of her work actually came again through connecting to people already in that industry, and they were very helpful. Um, Talking to networking, which was great, and Google. You'd be surprised. So there was a few suppliers she ended up with. I think Cosmoprof was one for like all of her um, products that she kind of goes through daily. And then for the actual chairs and all that kind of stuff, she did find a wholesaler. I don't know that the BBF has that, but I would urge you to talk to other salon owners and see maybe what they're doing. Some will be forthcoming, some won't, but it's always better to ask. And uh, you know, some end up being incredibly helpful. Yeah.
Thank you, Amy. I know, like I said, I think we're do we have more questions? I know we're going over time, and I don't want to keep anybody for too long.
There's
Do we have
one
any other?
question in the Q&A.
Yeah.
What's the difference between IRAP and Innovation Canada? I think you kind of answered that, but if there's any other specifics that you wanted to address in that, like the difference between these two departments and programs.
Well, I can speak for Innovation Canada. I'm not familiar with IRAP, if I'm being completely honest. Amy, what is NRC IRAP?
So NRC IRAP is the National Research Council. And
Yeah.
basically, their job is to fund research and development on innovations within Canada, is sort of
Yeah.
their broader mandate. They are a crown corporation, essentially, is kind of a spinoff of government. And Innovation Canada is directly a ministry within the government. So our programs and our fundings function a little bit differently than NRC IRAP. IRAP is very much about pushing innovation within at a research level, and we're sort of helped to scale that innovation would probably be the best way to look at it.
Just want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for giving us a little bit of extra time, and really thank you to Innovation Canada for coming today. This was clearly a really beneficial session for everybody. I'm seeing it in the chat. I'm seeing it on the posts. So thank you for putting these programs together and for creating these easy tools for us to go look what's available for us. It's just really, really awesome. And so,
Absolutely.
can't thank you enough
Absolutely.
for
Thank
being
you
here.
so much. I'd like to also thank my colleagues, Maha and Amy, for being here. They're my favorite. Don't tell the rest of my colleagues, please, because I don't want to get fired. But I always go to them on webinars because they're the best. And obviously you guys don't see, but my colleague Dimitri is in the background. He's the one who's been sharing the links and sharing his screen. So thank you to Dimitri as well. And like Jenna said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.